And welcome back, everyone, to Box Office Report today on the 9th of February. It's already the 9th of February. Why does it feel like February only just started? We're already over a week in. Dear God. But I did not get the box office right because I assumed one of these two opening releases would have beaten Dogman. Dogman made it to number one again with 13.7 million, dropping 61.9%. Ooh. Hard Eyes made about 8.5 million, and opening up at number two. Number three, we have Love Hurts opening up 5.8 million. Ooh. Mufasa, The Lion King, still in the top five, but another 3.9 million. And Companion, in its second week, dropped 67.5%. Oh man, making only a little over 3 million. Dogman, the first one to talk about. Hey, look, good on it. I actually am glad I double checked this because this is higher than when I first looked or first checked it out because I forgot to update the international numbers. But look, it's not doing terribly. It's only made on 40 million, so you're looking at a film that probably only has to hit 90 million to break even. But that being said, it dropped 61%. Now I remember, but I remember last week when I mentioned that this one might have a decent drop off because there's nothing else in theaters right now. Well, I was clearly wrong because I think the other thing I mentioned was it's not really a 4-quadrant film. This is definitely designed for younger kids. And sure, it's a fine little babysitter movie. It's not even a bad movie, I don't think. It's just not my cup of tea. I wouldn't really hate showing my kid this. I wouldn't go out of my way to say, "Hey, you want to watch Dogman? I got you gonna be your favorite Dogman." No, fuck that. You're gonna watch The Secret of NIMH growing up. You're gonna watch Return to Oz. You're gonna watch the original Disney Renaissance with Beauty and the Beast, Aladdin, Little Mermaid, The Hunchback of Notre Dame. You're gonna Rescuers Down Under, damn good one. You're gonna watch things like The Incredibles. You're gonna watch Coco. You're gonna watch quality. Again, I'm not. Those are the things I would raise my kids on. But if they also had read the books like Dogman, I'm like, all right, did you know they made a movie? Let me know what you thought, kids. So how'd you like it? That was shit, Dad. Aw, they worked hard on that. That doesn't invalidate your opinion. I'm just saying. I'm doing a whole bit now. But point being, maybe the IP wasn't strong enough to really warrant a bigger return view. Or maybe it really was just they had their fill the first time and they thought, oh yeah, I'm not taking my kids back to see this. Still, 66 million right now is not a bad number for week two. The problem, as I said last week, though, is it's going to run to a bear-sized wall this coming week with Paddington, which is going to be a 4-quadrant film. Families of all ages can watch these films. The Paddington films actually do very well for themselves based on their budgets they're on. In fact, Paddington in Peru, do we have a full-on budget for that yet? Let's see here now. Paddington in Peru. Do we have a full-on marketing budget for this yet? Or marketing budget, full-on budget? No, we don't have. Oh, wow, it's already opened overseas. It's made 93.2 million. Let's see. Paddington Peru budget. Do we have? Come on, give me a budget right now, because the other ones are made on relatively low budgets. Let's see. Do we have Paddington in Peru's budget? Okay, so so at least the AI overview is saying it's estimated around 90 million. Which, you know what? I do think is more than the previous two Paddington films, but that would make sense. It's the third in the movie, similar like Sonic. The first two were actually made on the exact same budget, but the third got a bump because they got Keanu Reeves in. They were still getting Jim Carrey back, so I don't know. Either way, though, we'll have to see what Paddington actually does this week. Heart Eyes debuts with 8.5 million. So this is something, and I'll talk more about this when we talk about Love Hearts, that's kind of sucks. Sony Pictures released this, 8.5 million. It's only against an $18 million budget. But the problem is that where usually if you can open to a roughly about half to a third, you're going to be okay. You should hopefully be okay. That logic doesn't apply to the smaller films because the amount they have to make, like the budget that they're made on 18 million plus the extra 20 to 30 million in marketing. I'm going to go 20-ish, by the way. Not a huge marketing campaign they did, as far as I can tell. Which means this film would only have to hit about 60 million. If you're opening to half that, let's just round this up to 9 million, you're not making your money back, not even close, even with the international. You need to open more like to 15, 17, 20 plus $million, because then the drop-offs, even if they're big, means you're going to still be recouping more of your loss. Love Hurts falls into another category like this. $5.8 million. It's another $18 million film. And I'm going to tell you right now, I didn't see Hard Eyes. I'm not big on slashers that much. And I had my choice between the Ke Huy Quan fun movie and that, so I chose this. And look, if I were a Rotten Tomatoes critic, put me in the percentage of people who like the film. Acknowledging a lot of the problems the film has, but who like the film. So I had a good time. It's enjoyable. Ke Huy's a very likable protagonist. He's a very likable person. The action's a lot of fun. There's just some weirdness in there that's kind of fun. But it is tonally a little confused. It is also, for a not even hour and a half movie, it somehow feels not bloated, but over padded. Like there's too much going on. Still, overall I enjoyed it still. But yeah, but 18%. I checked before I started the video. 18% on Rotten Tomatoes. That's worse than The Crow, if I remember correctly. Like The Crow, I think had in the low 20%. This is a better movie than The Crow by a mile. So, like, I can't blame someone who doesn't like the film, but only 18%? Man, it wasn't the right vehicle for us to, have Q as the lead man, I think. Because they tried to do this terrible love story with Ariana DeBose, who I always butcher her name, who I like as an actress, and she's good as acting in the movie, but as a character, it was a terrible written character, and which gave no chemistry with her and Q, who's 19 years older than her. So I don't know, but it leads to an unfortunate realization we got here, including when we look down to say, oh man, is Wolfman already gone? Oh man, Wolfman's already, it's only in its fourth week, it's down to 260. Ugh. When we look at things like Flight Risk, Wolfman, Love Hurts, and Hard Eyes, the good news is they're not made a loss. They didn't lose a lot, but the fact is they still lost money. The studio was able to were making films on lower budgets, and people didn't go out to see them. So unfortunately, I feel like this is sending the wrong message to studios, saying we need to put more money into these things. We need to market. And it's like, no, you just need to make a better film. And marketing's still important, but you just need to make a better film. It sucks. It really does, because by all accounts, on $18 million, both Hard Eyes and Love Hurts should be able to make their money back. Like I would have thought Hard Eyes could, at least a slasher film, could have at least opened to double digits, and Love Hurts, having Ke Huy in there, fun kind of martial arts comedy, whatever, could have at least opened to double digits. But no, it didn't. That's just sad. That's unfortunate. And look, I'm not trying to not justify or make excuses for why a film failed. I'm just saying that's unfortunate that a film I at least enjoyed didn't do well. But it is what it is. Mufasa, The Lion King, still in the top 5. Man, will it be in the top 5 next week? Find out next week. $671 million. Again, it's tapered out. It really is petered out right now. By the way, you should know, Dogman is now the #1 film of 2025, and there's nothing you can do about it. And then here's Lion King is still going to be, or Mufasa is still going to be the #7 film of the year. All the other films for last year are nearly done their runs. Then we have Companion, who, man, talk about a good movie that got the short end of the stick here. Companion, if I remember correctly, was also rough. No. Companion's made on $11 million. That's right. Companion's made on $11 million. And if this film, like I said, can make about $40 million, I would say that's a win, because it's probably only has 10 to 20 at most for marketing. So I'm not going to say it's impossible, because the international kicked in for it a bit. Maybe the international will be able to give it a second life, because unfortunately it didn't open strong. And clearly either people didn't like it or they just were good with it the one time. I mean, admittedly, I was one of those people. At 67.5, I'm not quite sure where the masses' tastes are at right now, to be honest. Now, don't get me wrong. We got Dogman, Hard Eyes, Love Hurts, Mufasa, Companion, Wolfman, Flight Risk as our main January fare. I mean, Mufasa's not in there, but you know what I mean. That is a very weird and unique bunch of movies. I grant you. And January, I think maybe because January carries the doldrum month, kind of what's the word I'm looking for here? Not badge of honor, reputation. Because it has the doldrum month reputation where people dump their garbage a lot of times. And maybe that has something to do with it. I don't know. Maybe people don't want to go out during January or whatever. It's unfortunate. One of them days. It's one of them days. And one of them days hit profit. So at least Sony got one win off here. Because Sony also released Heart Eyes. Man, it's going to be a weird early month. I guess the question is, why do I think people didn't see Companion? That one I can still talk about a little bit here. Why do I think they didn't see Companion? One, quite frankly, not a lot of people went to see it to begin with. And in fairness, that is not a broad appeal film. So you're only going to be attracting a certain niche group of people anyway. But why didn't it do? So that's maybe explaining the opening weekend a little bit. But for everyone, most people who saw it really liked it. And, passing word of mouth along is usually helpful. So why was that not the case here, I guess? My guess is word of mouth. It just, even with traveling word of mouth, it just isn't a movie that has a broad appeal, first and foremost. And the people who saw it probably didn't, like me, didn't go to see it a second time. Not to mention people, just don't want to be spending money right now. Obviously, with the economy and things along those lines happening, they're going to be picky and choosy. So it could be a number of factors. I can't make excuses for all of them. Becoming Led Zeppelin, a documentary I knew nothing about. The film traces the journey of the four members of Stairway to Heaven rockers through the music scenes of the 1960s and their meeting in the summer of '68 and culminating in 1977 or 1970. Well, yeah, it is my favorite band, but I'm not a documentary guy. Flight Risk made on $2.2 million. I said $34 million, but the film's made on $25 million. So this is bad any way you splice it. It really is. And it's more of a fun bad movie than a good movie that didn't get what it deserved. Look, I'm not surprised Flight Risk didn't do bad. It didn't do well. It's not a very good movie, to be sure. But it is kind of fun. And then Sonic the Hedgehog 3, they earned $1.7 million, 471. It's just shy of hitting the top 10. I don't think it will get there. And Moana 2 is also pretty done its run, $1.039 billion. So it's also pretty much done its run. It hasn't really budged from its last spot. Other than that, we still have Complete Unknown who's out because it's an Oscar contender. It's also getting more international play now, which is good for it. It's not anywhere near close to making its money back, but good for it. It's still getting more international play. Then we have I'm Still Here, which I'll be honest, I know nothing about this one. Mother is forced to renovate herself and the family shattered by active. Oh yeah, I remember reading the synopsis on that. The Brutalist is another one of the Oscar contenders. Good for it. I don't know what it's made on. Den of Thieves Pantera, I know is around $53 million. It did not make its money back. Wicked, it made made it right around $600,000. It's also pretty done. Parasite got a re-release. I don't think anyone really cares that much. Nosferatu is also now pretty done its run. We're basically now making way for the majority of the new films though. Like all the Christmas, December releases are now kind of really reaching the ends of their runs. Baby Girl is now only on 152 screens. Nosferatu is only on 467 screens. Wicked was released in November. It's on 835 screens still, but it's losing a lot of screens fast. Complete Unknown is down to, it's slowly losing its screens, but because of Oscar convention, it's going to be still around for a little bit. Moana is still in about 1,785 screens, but it's going to be losing a lot with Paddington and Captain America this week. Sonic's still over 200 screens, but again, going to be losing a lot. And Mufasa, amazingly, is still at just under 3,000 screens because it's still making money, but it will also be losing a lot come this week. So it's a pretty lackluster first weekend of the month. I mean, if I add this up really quick, what does that get me to? It gets me to, that's 2 million, let's see, 21, 3 million, 28, 31. Let's see here, 31, 34, 37, 40, like just within the margin of $50 million. So it's a low ass week at the box office, to be sure. This coming week, though, I don't think any of us are going to deny that it will be Captain America. It's projected to make anywhere between $85 to $100 million for its opening weekend, which would be a good opening weekend, I think. Is it like huge by MCU standards at this point? No. But is it a bit, because you know you're going to get the idiots who are like, oh, Deadpool Wolverine broke record, it only makes $100 million, it's falling off for the 17th time. Shut your mouth. Like, stop clickbaiting and stop fucking talking, you whiny little idiots. Because you are the part of the fandom that no one likes. You don't even like you, but you have to deal with you. Anywho, yeah, Cat is, even if it lowballs and comes in at, like, say, the 85, it would be disappointing compared to what they were predicting, but that'd still be frankly, a solid number. If I remember correctly, too, it's apparently Captain America's is only like on that the numbers for what it was made on were greatly exaggerated. They did actually come out and say what it was made. I think it's like 150 to 200 million or whatever. I can't remember exactly what it is. It's surprisingly not as bad as you think. So honestly, any number that's, say, over the $80 million mark would be good. If it makes, like, say, 75, that would actually be a cause for concern. Not because 75 is inherently a bad number, but because that's way under what the projections were. So we'll wait and see what the number for that is actually going to be. But it's going to be number one. I don't think anyone's going to argue that. Paddington in Peru will be number two. No one will argue that either. But then after that, ooh boy. I guess Dogman is safe to say going to be number 3 next week. Even if it drops another 60 some odd %, that still would put it at about 5 some odd million. And Hard Eyes and Love Hurts are not going to be at that high of a number next week. So there's that. And then, oh my. Love Hurts is probably dropping 60+%. There's no doubt in my mind it's probably doing that, which means you're looking at a film that's barely going to be at 2 million next week. I think Hard Eyes is able to stay at number 4. It's still able to be in the top 5. Oh man. Let's see. Does Mufasa drop another 30 some odd %? Let me just look at this number. Let me round up to 40. If it drops 40%, given 2 new releases, that's I think a reasonable guess. That would mean that I'm looking at a number of about almost 1.6 million, so 23 million. Not going to lie, I think Mufasa will still be at number 5 next week. It's insane to say that, but I think that's a very likely scenario. So just to recap, Captain America, Brave New World, Paddington in Peru, Dogman, Heart Eyes, and then Mufasa. Now, I might be dead wrong on that. Very possible I am, but at least with the first 2, I feel comfortable in. Those ones I'm not arguing at all. But we'll see what happens for the box office next week. Until then, thanks for watching. Hope you enjoyed. Like, comment, share, subscribe, and I'll see you next time.